Hey guys, it's Paul Myers, licensed professional counselor, owner of Intentional Counseling. I'm going to cover sleep tips today, just to improve your sleep if you have sleep problems. It's very common with mental health struggles. Or if you just want to be healthier, this is helpful as well. So I have a few tips narrowed down. These are really general, but you can easily do them. It's just quick habits you can change. So the first one is consistency. Consistency with sleep, I would say probably out of a lot of these things, it's really important because your body really adapts to what you present it to. This is true about a lot of things, but sleep is definitely one of them where if you're consistently going to bed at the same time every day and waking up at the same time every day, your body will actually adjust to that and begin to expect that and get into a rhythm with it. So consistency is huge. If you have really one day you're up till 3 a.m. and the other day you're going to bed at 10 p.m. And you're just all over, your body really doesn't like that. It has a hard time adjusting and getting somewhat of a routine. Versus if it's consistent, if it's the same, even if it's consistently bad, it's consistent, so your body adjusts. Okay. Second thing I have on here is sleep cycles. So sleep cycles have are based on age. So typically, if we look at newborn infants and children, they need the most sleep. Their brains and bodies are growing at a rapid pace, so they need a lot of sleep. A baby needs about 18 hours, if it gets the maximum amount of sleep when it's newborn. Versus a full-grown adult, you need about 7, maybe 8. So you can see as we get older, the amount of sleep we need declines, but still, even the lowest amount, meaning about 7 hours, okay? The biggest reason with this is we have sleep cycles. There's actually 5 stages of sleep. The 5th stage of sleep, REM sleep, being the most important stage. This is where your body really does most of its regenerating. It's very healthy. It's deep sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. This is where most of our dreams come into play. And if you ever have really weird dreams, then you're probably getting really good sleep. Okay? So sleep cycles are an hour and a half or 90 minutes in length. So if you time it, you can go to bed at a certain time and get an exact amount of sleep cycles to where you're waking up at that exact precise time. So you can actually do the math, an hour and a half, an hour and a half, an hour and a half. See how many sleep cycles you can get inside that window based on your life stage. Okay? Next thing, number 3. We have associations and environment. So your brain actually associates sleep with the environment. So your bedroom, for example, if you're only using your bed for sleep, your brain will now associate your bed with sleeping and relaxing. So you have that compartmentalized part of your life, which is very healthy for sleep because if you use your bed for everything, you do your homework in your bed, you study in your bed, you do work in your bed, you watch TV in your bed, you talk to your friends in your bed, then your brain doesn't really associate your bed with sleep. So you really want to train your brain to, whenever you lay down in your bed, that it's time to go to sleep. And it will adjust and make that association. Okay? Same thing with the bedroom. Make the bedroom a place of relaxation, not of productivity. Or if you have a small house or a small apartment, you don't have a lot of space to compartmentalize, you can actually section off your bedroom to where part of it is designated for productivity and the other part is relaxation. But the associations will matter. Try it. I've even had people say, hey, I have really messed this one up. I've just done everything in my bed and I really have these bad associations. Not a problem. Take your room and flip-flop it, completely redesign it. You can repaint it, you can move the same furniture around, just inverse it, or just redecorate and really make it look like a different room. It takes not a whole lot of effort for what feels like a completely different room. Once you've redecorated your room, then now, going forward, only use your bed for sleep, or preferably only use your bedroom for relaxing and calming down and winding down. Okay? If possible. Okay, next, number 4, avoid substances. So any psychoactive substance definitely has an impact on sleep. So stimulants and depressants will affect your sleep, okay? So uppers or downers. So let's use a lighthearted example. So caffeine, for example. Most people consume caffeine to some capacity. So, coffee, Dr. Pepper, any caffeine, it's a stimulant, technically. So stimulants are going to increase that elevation in your central nervous system. It really wakes you up. It has an alerting effect. And so what will happen is it'll ruin your sleep if you have any stimulants before bed, right? So let's say caffeine, for example, has a half-life of about 5.75 hours, which means it'll stay in your system for that amount of time, which means it could ruin your sleep if you have it, 2 hours before you go to bed, 3 hours before you go to bed. Kind of carries over, prevents your body from winding down and relaxing. Depressants have similar effect where, you may help you fall asleep, but once it filters out of your system, your body, it creates this jolting effect. So if I drink a lot of alcohol, I go to sleep immediately after. Well, once that alcohol filters out of my system in the middle of my sleep, it'll wake me up, have this jolting effect, which can ruin your sleep. Plus, typically depressants inhibit REM sleep anyways. You may be asleep, but you're really not getting very deep sleep. So hangovers are a thing. It's very common. Okay. But that's all substances. So I just use a few examples like nicotine, stimulant, alcohol, depressant, right? Caffeine, stimulant, right? THC is a depressant, right? I could go really hard like cocaine, heroin, right? And it's all uppers and downers, stimulants and depressants, okay? Then we've got the lighting and screen time. So your eyes actually have receptors in them that really communicate to your brain when there's really strong lighting that it's daytime, it's not time to go to sleep yet. So if I have really bright overhead lighting or intense screen lighting from my device, it really can trigger those receptors and really tell my brain it's daytime, it's not time to wind down. So my brain isn't getting ready for sleep, it's not decompressing and regulating itself, okay? So that's why screen time, usually right before bed, about anywhere from 2 hours to an hour before bed. Like if I'm just on my device, and I okay, I'm done for the night, boom, and I try to lay down and go to sleep, it's going to take me 30 minutes to an hour for my brain to, unless you're just utterly exhausted, but it's going to take you a second for your brain to wind down, okay? So that's a thing. Sunlight actually is a big deal, so even the sun can help regulate your sleep. So we have vitamin D3, which is actually technically the sunlight vitamin, okay? So with D3, if you go outside and you have direct sunlight on your skin, that is actually, you're getting a lot of vitamin D3. It's very healthy for you. It's very positive for you, okay? A lot of benefits to that. But it will help you regulate your sleep. If you're not outside, you don't have sunlight on your skin, you can actually take vitamin D3. I take vitamin D3 every evening before I go to bed, just to help me regulate, and also a lot of benefits there. Melatonin as well as an example, so a hormone you can take that is, it's not a drug or any kind of medication, but it will help wind you down if you take it 30 minutes before you go to bed. Your body actually produces it naturally, so if you do it naturally, that's great, without having to rely on melatonin, but it is an option if you get desperate. Okay, number 7, avoid strenuous activity at night. So the strenuous activity would be going on a really intense run, or really like maxing out my capabilities and really pushing my limits, really pushing my body here, okay? So strenuous activity, exercise, it's normally healthy, it's very good, I always recommend it. But if you do it at night before you go to sleep, it'll actually, exercising actually, you're really tired immediately after, but it actually wakes you up. And you'll be more awake. So if you exercise, preferably do it during the day or in the morning, if you can. Exercising at night is better than no exercise, but it can impact your sleep, so just be aware of that, okay? All right, so we've got journaling. Journaling is fantastic. So for those of us that lay down at night and then our brains are just going, I've talked to thousands of people where at nighttime is when they have most of their mental health struggles. You're tired, you're isolated, you're alone, there's no responsibility, there's nothing going on, and you just have a second to think. Well, that's when people start getting in their own way and spiraling mentally, and all the negative thinking comes in. So you have to be careful. So journaling is fantastic for that. You can just put all the stuff that's in here down to kind of brain dump all that out, and it will help you just externalize all that and get rid of that and get it out of your head. And then you can close the journal and go to sleep and say, yeah, that'll be there waiting for me when I wake up. I can let it go. It helps me kind of get that mental shift where I'm not focusing on it as much, okay? Some people even journal and then they crumple it up and toss it. That's fine too. There's a lot of ways to journal. Okay, last one is energy expenditure. So this is just what it means. You have, I like to imagine you have two tanks, okay? So you have a mental health energy, a mental energy tank, and you have a physical energy tank. So when your physical energy and your mental energy match, usually you get better sleep. So let's take my example. So I'm sitting in a chair all day, I'm just using my mind, I'm not using my body. So my mind is mostly just going. My body though, not so much. So I've got all this physical energy and I've drained my mental energy. So that's like an energy expenditure imbalance. So what would help is a little bit of physical exercise to get that physical energy tank down, equivalent to the mental energy, okay? Or it could be the other way around. Maybe you have a very physically demanding job, but it's not very mentally demanding. So you're very physically drained, but you're mentally wound up. So you could do something mentally challenging or stimulating to get that down as well. So you kind of get those tanks, spend all the energy you can to get better sleep, and try to match those tanks as much as you can. Okay, guys? Hey, I really hope this was helpful. If you did find it helpful, comment, let us know. We love your feedback. Always subscribe, helps us grow, and the more people we help, the better. And if you haven't done therapy, go to intentional-counseling.com to get a counselor. Either myself or a trained therapist could help you. All right, guys? Take care.